Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Golbat video. Today I'm going to be showcasing Clefable in the Open Great League. Clefable is quite an interesting pick for the current meta. It has amazing coverage with the Meteor Mash and Moonblast, and quite recently the usage of this Pokemon in competitive Pokemon Go has went really far up. As you can see, we land a Meteor Mash on the Sandslash, a Steel type against a Fairy. It's a very close matchup, and we've done an absolute ton of damage. In this team we're running Umbreon, a very solid safe swap, and even against bug types, this Pokemon puts in a lot of damage. However, we're up against the big bulky spider. We certainly are very happy to see this out here, and please, for the love of goodness man, do not buff this Pokemon. If this Pokemon ever gets Surf or any good moves, Araquanid's going to be an absolute nightmare. But welcome back to the channel guys, hope you're all having a fantastic day as always. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, it is absolutely free. And let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think is a really underrated pick that you don't see that often in Open Great League? As I mentioned, this Pokemon has got a lot of usage now in Pokemon Go Regionals. We had Tonton Patus using this Pokemon a couple of days ago in Gdansk, who finished second place. I put on an absolute show with this Pokemon, and it just looks like an absolute ton of fun, and of course, I do want to try it out for today's video. We have Clefable in the lead, we have Umbreon and Medicham in the back, which are basically there to deal with the most common Steel types, and we might struggle with Registeel on this team a little bit, but I more often than not only see Sandslash. Registeel has become a little bit less popular these days. The opponent comes into their own Medicham, we're ahead in energy, so we should be able to set up Clefable to do Clefable things. We're going to go for the Psychic here. The opponent actually shields up the first Psychic, and I'm thinking they might look to go for an Ice Punch right here. We are getting decently low, but I don't think an Ice Punch quite KOs from here. They have to go for the Psychic, they go for the Ice Punch. We do get off another Ice Punch here, and that's basically going to put the opponent into Meteor Mash range. Let's have a look here. Boom, coming through. We have got a bit of energy on the Clefable. We're basically forced to shield up everything at this point. Psychic coming through. The opponent actually is going for the debuff, I guess, or just a very, very ambitious Psychic. We're going to go for a CMP on the Meteor Mash, which from this range will certainly KO. But this is basically a race, guys. Can we get to 2 moves versus the Sandslash? They're getting very, very low. The opponent's committing to the farm down. We're committing to the farm down as well. And we actually get a simul KO in the first match. As you can see, even though Sandslash is a Clefable counter, Clefable does absolutely fine there. And if you have shields down, if you can get a little bit of damage through, Clefable can really do a lot of work, and it is very manageable. Boom! In goes a Moonblast. The opponent lets it go, and we come into Umbreon. The opponent actually swaps into Surfetched, and we're going to go for a last resort immediately here. Surfetched, not exactly what I want to see in this team. Most likely it's on Leaf Blade. However, they could go for hard-hitting Brave Bird, which would probably KO from this range. Surfetched, as you can see, has done a lot of work on Umbreon. I decided to let this go. It is a Leaf Blade. Do we get off another last resort? I go for the Foul Play here, knowing that they're pretty close to another move, so we'll get this off. The opponent goes for a Shield, which is great, and they're going to commit to the counter down. Now at this point, guys, I would have to eat an absolute ton of moves on Clefable, so I think I might have to come into Medicham here, just to absorb all of the damage. Yeah. Immediately they go for a Leaf Blade. I'm praying and hoping they're not on Brave Bird. They go for another Leaf Blade, which is fantastic. And we're going to look to shield up the second move here, just to preserve a little bit of health on our Medicham. So we're looking at, we're in a bit of a tricky spot here, right? The opponent's taking alignment here. They can come back in with Gligar. I think this one earliest does not quite KO me, so I'm going to let this go, and we're going to go ahead and go for an Ice Punch here. I actually foolishly don't go straight for the move. I could have gotten the shield or the KO here. I was definitely a little bit off track in energy. We do finally go for the Ice Punch, and we just need to pray and hope there's something in the back that we can beat. We're going to go for pretty much an aggro swap, but yeah, it's Lickitung. Man, if we had a little bit of health on that, or if we had a shield for Clefable, we definitely could have done things here. Because as you're about to see, one Moonblast from Clefable, if the opponent lets it go through, it's going to do an absolute ton of damage. However, the opponent shits their pants, throws up the shield, and it's basically game over, unfortunately, guys. I think Lickitung was going to be a little bit tricky to deal with no matter what. However, if I had more health on Medicham, and maybe a shield to go with it, I might have been fine there. So a little bit of a tricky team for us. Amazing lead in this next game. Stinky Binky. He's not going to have a good time against Clefable. We're going to farm all the way up here. I like to go for a CMP on 9. Most likely they think we're quite classy, and they want to go for a Rock Slide. I'm more than happy to oblige. Boom! We absolutely annihilate the Stinky Binky. Actually, it wasn't a CMP. And we absolutely annihilate the Stinky Binky with Clefable and that Meteor Mash. Done an absolute ton of damage. But as you can see, double super effective Meteor Mash from an attack-weighted Pokemon like Clefable did not KO this. It really just speaks to how broken this Pokemon is. There's really not a lot that can actually one-shot it. We go for the back-to-back, so I throw the move 1 before CMP, so that if they shield, they have to shield twice, and the opponent is shielding twice. Now at this range, guys, I'm thinking they must be weak to Clefable in the back, so we're going to shield up once, farm it the whole way down, and look to hopefully Moonblast whatever comes in. We're in a pretty good spot here. We've got all shields down, and in comes a Quagsire. Quagsire is not going to enjoy this Moonblast. This is going to absolutely chunk, and at this point, guys, we can just aggro swap into Medi. They come in with a Mandibuzz, and because we're ahead in energy, guys, we're in a very, very good position now. Umbreon does absolutely fine against Mandibuzz. The Quagsire is super low, so all we need to do is keep going for Ice Punches. In the zero shield scenario, this gets quite close, but we are ahead in energy, and I think we can hopefully get off 3 Ice Punches here. I'm also thinking that If we go down, we might be able to get a Fairy Wind down if we get them low enough. So the opponent certainly had a move here, they're going to throw it off. I don't think this quite KOs. If we get to another move, all we need to do is just throw it off. We have an entire Umbreon for our low health Quagsire. Yeah, the opponent's going for an overfarm, I think, here. I'm not quite counting while watching, but I'm pretty sure they were over the area lace here. We come into our Umbreon, and that's just game over. They're going to need 3 moves here, I think, no matter what to KO. Umbreon, too thick. Best doggo of all, boom. They go for Mud Bomb. And of course, we go for the last resort, because why would you go for a foul play when you can go for a last resort? This should take the opponent out, absolutely no problem, and that's going to be good games well played. So as you can see here, we're above Legend Elo, and we're actually doing very well with this Pokemon. In comes Azumarill. This is a very bad Pokemon for our backline, so we just stay right here, folks. We go for the Moonblast on 7, and see what the opponent really wants to do. I think I'm pretty happy to respect the Play Rough. I'm assuming this might be on Play Rough and Hydro Pump. We're going to respect this move, and I think sometimes you see Azumarill with things like Medicham in the back, Sandslash in the back, so if we can get alignment, that'd be great. Now here, I don't go for the Moonblast because I decide I'm going to need 2 moves anyway. Perhaps one Moonblast would have been better there, but that's what I decided at the time. We can like this, get a little bit of an overfarm, and like to go for another Meteor Mash. See what the opponent really wants to do. They do actually end up letting it go, and in comes Trevenant, ladies and gents. Umbreon, the best doggo of all, is about to piss all over this tree, and we'll see what the opponent wants to do here. They have Azumarill, now it's Trevenant. They're going to go for a Seed Bomb. I thought this was quite interesting. This is a horrible matchup for Trevenant. Seed Bombs do absolutely nothing. Ladies and gents, if I had to make a team read, I would say Azumarill double Ghost. Very, very classic team in Go Battle League, and I'm 100% sure that's what it was. Now in comes Victreebel, quite an interesting match. We're going to swap into Umbreon to hopefully like to draw out the Medicham. The opponent's staying in here for a minute, so I'm like, yo, if you're going to stay in, I'm going to throw a foul play, bro. Absolutely no problem at all. Do not care about timing whenever they're messing around like this. They come into Bastiodon, which makes me think, okay, no Medicham most likely. However, Bastiodon is quite a good match against Umbreon. Perhaps the opponent doesn't want us to draw out the Medicham with the Clefable, so we're going to have to see what's in the back here. They have a Shadow Victreebel lead, a Bastiodon if against the Umbreon. Once again, guys, I'm very surprised that Medicham didn't come in here. We go for CMP. It's one of the CMP ties that Umbreon actually wins, so that's fun to know. Stone Edge, that was certainly an undercharged Stone Edge, and I actually decide to escape into Medicham here, because I know I can farm up an absolute ton of energy, and the opponent's already down a shield. They've misaligned their switch timer by allowing me to go for the move, so I can get a ton of free counters here, and actually, guys, it is Mandibuzz. I'm really not sure who came up with this team, but it is certainly an interesting one. I'm sure there must be some core breakers along the line for this team. We're going to go for multiple Ice Punches, guys. We've got the Overfarm. This is exactly what we wanted. And as I said earlier, this matchup is quite close between Medi and Mandy. Now, what I can do is easily shield this move. I know I still have a Basti to deal with. The clocks are once again misaligned, so I'm going to go for another Ice Punch. Actually, I'm going to try to store the energy. They're just getting to the move, so I have to throw it. But at this point, guys, we're going to come into Clefable. The opponent shields, and we're going to start Fairy Winding the life out of this stupid bird. This stupid bird is about to get farmed all the way down. Now, they're for a move, so they should be able to get back out here. In comes Bastiodon. Oh no, our Fairy type is against the Steel type. Let me tell you something, folks. Clefable hits like an absolute truck, and we're going to take it out with the Moonblast. Now, if the opponent comes back in with Mandy, they're screwed. If they come back in with Victreebel, they're going to throw off a move here. I think they're just trying to get my shield because they have a little bit of energy in Mandibuzz, but we are just perfectly fine here. This Meteor Mash is going to absolutely obliterate the Victreebel. It's going to completely one-shot it, and at this point, guys, they still have to throw a move with Mandibuzz to take us out. We're going to Fairy Wind them the whole way down. These Fairy Winds are hitting like charms right now. The opponent should be top lefting, but that is perfectly fine here. More than happy to just counter this once and take it out, so good games well played to the opponent. And once again, you're seeing the power of Clefable. It's like an absolute truck, puts in a ton of damage, and it certainly core breaks quite a lot of teams, I find. You get some teams with Mandy and Medi just double weak to Fairy. Fairy is a very disrespected typing, and we get a Pikachu Libre. This is my first set after hitting Legend. We go 3 wins and 1 draw, and we're actually climbing after hitting Legend, which is quite nice. It took me quite a long time. It was quite a struggle getting to Legend, so it is nice to be making a bit of a climb. I'm very close to 3100. I'm using a different team. I'm using a different Fairy type, which I'm going to showcase tomorrow. If you guys are 10 minutes into the video, I might as well spoil it for you. We're going to be using Togetic tomorrow, and actually had an absolute blast with that Pokemon. In comes Swampert. I think we actually beat Swampert because we just do so much damage. The opponent rightly shields up that move. I might come into our Medicham here. Medicham once again is a positive match. Now, because we've got a shield, I think the opponent might go for the Earthquake. They end up going for the Hydro Cannon, so I guess that's a misread by me, because 2 Hydro Cannons pretty much KO, and I need to land a Psychic here to pretty much KO them. I should have went for that move a little bit sooner. This is definitely a misplay, but the good thing is I can go for an Overfarm, look to throw off an Ice Punch, and come out with Farm on the other side. So I guess it's working out okay, but I think definitely just getting off the Psychic immediately would have been a lot better. The opponent lets it go because we've got back-to-back moves. They still have a shield up, but we have a full free Pokemon here. They come in with Gligar, which when Medicham has a bunch of energy is not a great answer. They go for the catch on Sirfetch'd. Really nice catch by the opponent. The decent thing here is we're going to be able to line up our Clefable to the Surfetched. I decide here to bank the Ice Punch and come on into Clefable. This still is a little bit tricky because these Leaf Blades are going to add up very, very quickly. As you can see, 2 Leaf Blades will KO. I just need to get off this Meteor Mash ASAP. We do get it off before they get the next move. I actually thought the opponent would shield here, but they actually let this move go. And at this point, we should be in a very good position now. In comes Gligar. Can we reach the Meteor Mash? The opponent thinks we are. So we're going to go ahead and eat this Aurelius on Clefable. Now, a very positive matchup for Umbreon. We have an Ice Punch banked. All we need to do is come in, throw 3 foul plays, and that's basically game over. They're going to need 3 moves to KO. Umbreon's just far too thick for this thing. 2 foul plays takes it out, and the opponent actually goes for an Aurelius here. I'm not too sure what the point in that was, but they certainly should go for a couple of digs on Umbreon. But yeah, we're up to almost back-to-back foul plays. 1 comes through, we go for the next one. The opponent's going to go for another Aurelius. I guess they're thinking that they might need like 3 moves. Okay, they're going for 1 Aurelius and 2 digs maybe. It's not going to matter too much here. We're just going to get this move off, swap into Medicham, go for the Ice Punch, and that'll be enough to KO. So if you're thinking about trying this team, it's more of a balanced team as opposed to an ABB. You've got Clefable in the front, which is basically your fairy answer. It's a little bit glassy as a fairy answer, so if you do see a Charmer, it can be quite tricky. Now here's an interesting match right here. We've got Trevenant. They actually swap out. And what I decide to do here is stay in and go for a Meteor Mash, which should allow me to farm it the whole way down. And then basically put Medicham on Trevenant, go for several Ice Punches here, and basically look to close this out with Clefable and Umbreon. What I'm thinking here is it's most likely a Lowland Sandslash in the back. You've got an answer to counter in the front, you've got a Dugong here to draw out the Medicham, and then of course you have something in the back that is weak to counter. Anything in the back that's weak to counter, 9 out of 10 times, unless it's Registeel, Umbreon can more than deal with it. So we counter the Dugong the whole way down. I go for 1 Ice Punch here in Trevenant. We should be able to get off an Ice Punch or a Psychic. A Psychic does more than a super effective Ice Punch. The opponent will get a farm down here. We get an amazing alignment, right? We're just going to put our Umbreon on this, and I think that's going to basically core break the rest of the team. If they come in with Licky or whatever, I'll just swap into Clefable and get off a bunch of damage on that. Yeah, the opponent's basically throwing a move here, just trying to chip us down. They may not have an amazing answer to Umbreon. Seed Bomb coming through does very, very little damage, and I think the opponent is pretty much going to concede here. They get off another Seed Bomb. This is only just about getting us into 50% health, and we've got an absolute ton of farm on Umbreon. There's still 2 shields, and in comes the Sandslash. Ladies and gents, this is game over. You've seen how much damage a Meteor Mash done before. All we need to do is get shields off the opponent. We're going to go for 1 and throw every time. Maintain some good timing. If they want to throw some moves, we'll certainly shield them up and just look to get the shields off the opponent. Powder Snow Sandslash is quite an interesting one. It beats Umbreon in the 2s if you go for Ice Punches. So if you have a Powder Snow Sandslash, that's something to keep in mind. Again, we're sticking to good timing. We're just trying to get the opponent's final shield. And as soon as we get it, it's Clefable time. Clefable's going to come in, go for a big Meteor Mash, which will absolutely one-shot it. Good thing to know is Sandslash wins CMP most of the time. We can let this Ice Punch go, it's not going to hurt that much. This Meteor Mash is absolutely going to KO from here. And you know, even if they caught on Trevenant here, it would be perfectly fine. All of our Pokemon on this team can deal with Sandslash to some degree. Like I said, the Meteor Mash is just absolutely chunk. In comes Trevenant, we're going to farm it the whole way down, and that's going to be good games. After hitting a legend a couple of days ago, it is really nice to use a fun and more interesting Pokemon. Speaking of interesting, after this 4-1 set, I started seeing an absolute ton of poisons in the lead. I started seeing Quagsire, started seeing Golbats. So I mean, I've done very, very well with this team. However, the algorithm is not happy with me now, and they're coming to get their elo back. So yeah, we go for Umbreon safe swap. We actually don't have an answer to Golbat whatsoever, so we just try to deal with it as much as possible. Because again, neutral Meteor Mashes can do a lot of damage. Foul Plays do a lot of damage. Ice Punches and Psychics can do a lot of damage. So we can deal with it. It's just very, very tricky. If they are up shields, it can be very, very awkward. The opponent's on Pop here, which is quite annoying. They can actually get rid of our Umbreon much faster. We probably would have got off 1 more Foul Play here, had they not been on Pop, which is kind of annoying, which pretty much would take out the opponent. Maybe I could have went for a Last Resort and got a Simul KO, but I think what I need to try and do here is come in with Clefable, go for a Fairy Wind down, and look to maybe go for a Meteor Mash on the Golbat when it comes back. I can't really afford to shield move here. It is a boosted Psychic, does an absolute ton of damage. We're going to go for a Meteor Mash, hopefully get a shield off the opponent, and try to go for like maybe an Ice Punch and a Psychic with Medi. The opponent shields it up. It's looking very, very awkward. I go for a swap into Medi here, trying to pretty much, like I said, land a Psychic. I'm just going to make a call. I'm pretty much screwed here. They go for Poison Fang. Pretty unnecessary. And in comes Deoxys. This is game over. So this team just basically beats me from front to back. They've got a Clefable or they've got a Golbat for my Clefable. They've got Deoxys for my Medi. They've got a Medicham for my Umbreon. Literally just a hard counter from back to front. Not a whole lot I could have done there. Tried to get a little bit of counterplay going, but because the Medicham was on Pop, it was just exceedingly difficult to actually get any foothold in that match. So yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. Clefable versus Deoxys. Quite an interesting match. We'll see what they have in the back. The opponent's going to stand for the time being. Now, I've seen this team before with Dugong and Umbreon, so I was really, really hoping for an Umbreon. I was trying my best to CMP the opponent. I think they overfarmed, and we go for this big Moonblast, which does an absolute ton of damage. We go for catch an Umbreon here, because oftentimes Deoxys teams are weak to Medicham in the back. Deoxys is really good against Medi, and in comes Sandslash. They're on Powder Snow, but guys, I still don't think you counter swap Sandslash into Umbreon. You're forced to shield, right? You can get 2 shields off the opponent here. The really good thing for the opponent's point of view is they're basically guaranteeing that their Sandslash never ends up on a Medicham. So it's understandable from that point of view, where if you see a Pokemon that your Sandslash can deal with, you're like, you know what, this is a great place to put it. But the opponent's actually shielding up here, and they're just going to get countered down. So it's like, okay, sure, bro, no problem at all. Feel free to shield up. Ice Punch coming through. We're just coming in with Medicham. We've already landed a big move on the Deoxys with Clefable, so we should be able to go for Ice Punches on Deoxys, and that'll be perfectly fine. The opponent has got off a last second move. I decide to respect this one move, because I'm thinking it could be the hardest hitting move left in the game potentially. Back in comes Deoxys here. We're going to go for an Ice Punch to chip it down. The opponent still has some residual energy, so we'll see what they want to do here. This doesn't KO, but it puts them in a point where we can definitely just counter it the whole way down. They should probably go for 2 Psycho Boosts here. They go for Psycho Boost number 1, and they go for a swap into Lickitung here. They run even shields, and the opponent is outpaced to the first Body Slam before we get to the Psychic. I think I should probably just YOLO Psychic and then YOLO Moonblast. We are going to go straight forward here. If we get the debuff, the Moonblast is going to do so much damage. The opponent shields it. Now it's Clefable time, ladies and gents. We're going to see finally how much damage a Moonblast will do to a Licky. This is going to put the opponent deep into the red, and this should put us in a great position now. We've got 2 very, very low Pokemon. No shields are left in play, so this all comes down to who can get to the moves. These Fairy Winds are chunking as well. They definitely need another Body Slam. They cannot lick us down. We get to the Meteor Mash, and at this point, guys, Deoxys still has some energy, but they're still going to be forced to throw. And if they throw their Psycho Boost on Clefable, of course they're going to be debuffed, and they won't have enough health to take care of Medi, so that's good games well played. As you can see, like I said, we're up to 30-76. We're doing well at a high elo with this team, and I actually do quite recommend it. It's a little bit tricky for certain teams, but we get an amazing lead here. In comes Lickitung. Now what I like to do here is go for a swap into Umbreon after a while. Umbreon is such a hard answer to Lickitung, and pretty much you can come up with a foul play. But what I decided to do here is just chip it with a Fairy Winds, and then look to come into this and go for foul plays. Instead of coming out with a foul play with Umbreon, I would much prefer to get the energy with Clefable and then make it a closer matchup between Licky and Umbreon. Realistically, the opponent can't flip this matchup unless they shield, and if they shield, I'm more than happy to take shield advantage, or I can easily shield back. The Lickitung needs a massive advantage for them to actually flip this matchup. As you can see, like, we are both getting equally quite low, but we're getting the next foul play through, and this is still looking very, very comfortable. The opponent goes for an aggressive swap into Lantern, knowing they're not going to win switch, and we've basically got the alignment we want here. We've got Medicham on Lantern, we've got Clefable and Medi. We're going to shield up this move because it's going to be a Thunderbolt. Oh, they actually go for a Surf. I think that's such a bad bait. Knowing what I have in the back, they should just be going for Thunderbolt, I feel like. I don't really need to win this matchup. The reason I shielded that is because they know that I don't need to win this matchup. So they basically don't really have an incentive to bait, but people just bait for absolutely no reason these days. Honestly, like, I don't think people know why they're baiting in this game, to be honest. But we counter it the whole way down, and we come out with a Psychic for Medicham, or a Psychic for Licky, and we still have a decent amount of health on Umbreon that absolutely chunks. And with Clefable, we can still have a Psychic, no problem. As you've seen, we lived a boosted Psychic. Did they go for a catch right there? We're going to go straight for this Meteor Mash. We'll get them super low, and yeah, we're basically just winning this match now. We're in even shields. I'm more than happy for the opponent to go for a bait or whatever. It's like, yo, you bait me once. Like, this opponent, these baits are horrible, to be completely honest. They go for the catch on Lickitung. This is still perfectly fine, because we still have, like, 30% health, 40% health left on Umbreon, which at this range can deal with Medicham. They have to throw a Psychic into us. All I have to do is shield and go for Meteor Mash and then deal with it with Umbreon. So, not really a whole lot the opponent can do. They're baiting for absolutely no reason, and we do end up going 1-5 in that set, which is quite unfortunate. I played 15 battles with this team. I believe I went 7-1-6. So I won 7, drew 1, lost 6. Definitely enjoyed this team and I enjoyed Clefable. If I was making this team again, I might consider using something else in the back. You do sort of need some coverage for poison types. So if you do start seeing those, Medicham's a little bit awkward against them. Of course you have Psychic. But yeah, sometimes there's just teams that completely core break you from back to front. And it really doesn't matter, like, no matter what team you're going to run, you're always going to find teams that, oh, this lead beats my lead, this swap beats my swap, this closer beats my closer, so it's complete RPS for the loss. That's what happens sometimes, but we did overall go very positive with this team. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time for a brand new video.